It was during the American Civil War in 1864 that the patriarch of the Heldenfels family, Hugo Heldenfels, first arrived in South Texas.
Our history is wonderful with Hugo Heldenfels coming to this country twice. He had to go back because his grandmother was ill, and he came back and he landed at St. Mary's first and then Indianola, which was the old St. Mary's, the second time, and built his lumber company. And there is still a home standing in Bayside, Texas, that has a medallion that gives his name.
When my great-grandfather, Fritz, and his older brother, Carl, began as a lumber business in 1909, they were actually carrying on what was already a family tradition because his father, my great-great-grandfather Hugo, had been in the lumber and cattle business.
In 1909, Hugo's sons F.W. Heldenfels Sr. and C.A. Heldenfels laid the foundation for the future Heldenfels businesses by starting a lumber and materials business in Beeville, giving it the name of Heldenfels Brothers. During World War I, the company expanded into shipbuilding with a contract to build 4 wooden steam-powered cargo vessels. The first 2 ships, the Baychester and the Zuniga, were 280 feet long and weighed 2,800 tons apiece. At its zenith, the shipyard employed about 1,100 workers. After the war, the company began dredging oyster shell from the shipyard and made their first foray into road construction, an area where the Heldenfels name would make a significant mark in coming years. By 1936, Fritz's 3 sons had joined the business and expanded into construction of military bases, airports, and ever larger highways. When World War II approached, Heldenfels Brothers worked around the clock on military and defense projects across South Texas, including the Corpus Christi Naval Air Station. Over the following decades, Heldenfels Brothers touched practically every major construction arena in Texas, including highways, bridges, marine projects, subdivisions, industrial plants, office buildings, parking garages, and water treatment plants.
I guess I really came into the company by virtue of being family. I really remember the company from way back when I was a child because I went to the office and to the job sites a lot with my father.
Well, the earliest remembrance that I have is working out on South Shore Estates. I was about 14 years old.
All of us were expected to participate. At the age of 14, we all took our place. I was in the payroll department. The boys got to go dig out in the ditches. And that was just part of our growing up, that we were to be expected to participate and do our own part.
My earliest memories are just driving with my father to job sites, hanging out with him, going by job sites on a Saturday morning.
Well, I worked for 3 generations of this company, and I can say without a doubt their honesty and integrity is without question.
You can talk to anybody in South Texas or even around the state. Heldenfels has a fabulous name, and their years of service to Texas A&M. So there's the whole Aggie network that knows about the Heldenfels, and it's a little bit of pressure. It's a lot more pressure than working for a nameless corporation. You're working for a family and you're having to keep their reputation at the highest level.
Everybody I've walked in the door, they've said the same thing. Oh my gosh, you're at Heldenfels. What a fantastic company. That relationship, their relationships throughout the state are fantastic. Their reputation is impeccable. You're in a great place. So it's just been a fantastic, experience.
When you think of Heldenfels Brothers, you think of the family. And the family of Heldenfels Brothers is much larger than the immediate family named Heldenfels. It was, we had families, we had generational families that helped make Heldenfels Brothers the company that it was.
It's like one big family. We had my dad working there, and my uncles and my brothers.
Everybody's treated with respect and dignity, and that goes a long ways in labor relations.
My father, Tony Heldenfels, as he was called, H.C. Heldenfels, was a quiet leader. He also loved his school, Texas A&M, and served on the Board of Regents and was there when they voted to go co-ed. And then he became the chairman of the Board of Regents. And then later on, he became the chairman of the AGC.
The company has had a long and storied history with the AGC, with Fred Heldenfels Jr. also serving as its chairman. Fred Jr. also served on the Del Mar College Board of Regents for 20 years.
I'm really proud of my family, and that the company has made it 100 years. I think that, I just want to make sure I hold up my end of the bargain.
If I could sum it up in one word, it's really a legacy of stewardship. We practice that stewardship through, three fairly simple core values: integrity, dependability, and innovation.
You learn that what they learn. You have to be honest with people. You have to be your integrity-wise. You don't. I've got that from day one.
In 1995, Fred Heldenfels IV formed Heldenfels Enterprises Incorporated with his father, F.W. Heldenfels III. And today the company not only specializes in precast concrete structures for its traditional construction markets, highway, marine, and industrial, but also for new construction markets like commercial buildings and large challenging sports facilities such as the Dallas Cowboy Stadium. Heldenfels Enterprises also helped build Reliant Stadium, home of the Houston Texans, and the AT&T Center, home of the San Antonio Spurs. Out of this work grew Heldenfels Enterprises' new Building Systems division to provide complete building envelope solutions. These projects require not only quality product, but also exceptional project management capabilities to reach completion on time and on budget. A century later, the Heldenfels legacy is thriving, with plenty of big things on the horizon.
I'd like to thank all of the people I work with, and in particular, I'd like to thank the ones that were partners when I first worked for the company.
My brother Fred has done a remarkable job at growing the business at a time when the business came down to whether it was even going to continue. Fred picked up the pieces, he put them back together, he grew the company in a remarkable way in a short period of time.
We are celebrating 100 years because, frankly, it's a chance to stop and literally say, thank you. Thank God for the opportunity and blessings we've had, and thank you to our employees and our customers and our suppliers and vendors.
It's an honor for me to be working with them because, the way they treat our people.
Well, for 100 years, it's been a good ride, and I'm hoping for 100 more.
If I could share one piece of advice that my great-grandfather Fritz used to give his sons, and it passed down from there, it's simply keep on plugging.